All right, folks, welcome back. We're here for discussing transformations and the quiz review that we're going to kind of work through here. What I've decided is I'm going to break this into two parts. I'm going to talk about translations and reflections today. There's a worksheet on Google Classroom for you to complete. Then tomorrow will be rotations and dilations, a different sheet for you to complete on Google Classroom. And then on Thursday, we'll take a quiz over everything to hopefully, make sure we are good to go with these skills. So this first part will be brief. Next part will be a couple more rules that we need to make sure we have. All right, so the very first type of transformation that we looked at was a translation. Translation, we do not change how a figure looks. We don't change the direction it's facing. We simply are going to be sliding an image with no rotation or dilation. All right, so I'll try to get up from your seat right now and walk, out the door to your front house without turning and changing the direction that you're facing. Probably be kind of hard, but it could be kind of a fun activity because that's math out in the real world. Two ways that we have seen this written. Sometimes I just give you the direction and say, all right, take your image, slide it 6 units right, and 11 units down. All right, so then you just take each corner, you move it 6 to the right and 11 down, put the new point, and do that for all your vertices on that image. Plot them, make sure you put your primes down, okay? Another way that you might see this, the same information, they may say something like this: x plus 6, y minus 11. Saying the same thing. This is just what we call translation notation. So if I go x plus 6, that means I'm moving it 6 to the right. Y minus 11, that tells me I'm moving it 11 units down. So let's say, for example, I have, I just have a line. AB. Let's say it's 2, -3, 3, 0. Okay. If I'm going to use translation notation for this, I'm going to be adding 6 to my x's, but then subtracting 11. Oops. Didn't mean that, for my y's. And that's going to give me my new point, which is going to be A prime, B prime. 2 plus 6 is 8. -3 minus 11 is -14. So that's my A prime. 3 plus 6 is 9. 0 minus 11 is -11. The primes are important. If I were to do something else to this, like reflect it, then it'd be A double prime. So I'd have 2 of these apostrophes. B double prime. Kind of confusing, but that's kind of the rules though. All right. Our other type of transformation that we've learned that we're going to talk about today only is reflections. And we define reflections as a mirrored, symmetrical image. This is where we're just going to flip it from one side to the other, either over the y or over the x. Our movie quote for today, so I don't want to forget that: may the shorts be with you. All right, so back out here on the ranch. Reflections wise, we have 2 ways that I just described that we do it. We reflect over the x-axis or over the y-axis. That's really all we're worried about. We have specific rules. If I'm going to reflect over the x-axis, we multiply our y coordinate by -1. If we're going to reflect over the y, we multiply our x-coordinate by -1. Okay, so if we're going to take, I don't know, let's say we're going to take A prime and B prime points. So let's say it's 8, -14, and then 9, -11. And let's reflect over the, let's make it the y. We're not flipping, we're not switching these. All we're doing is we're taking, since we're reflecting over the y, we're going to multiply the x-coordinate by -1. That's our first number in our ordered pair. So that becomes now A double prime, B double prime, since this is now my second transformation. -8 times -1 is -8, -14. 9 times -1 is -9, -11. And that is all she wrote for these first two transformations. Complete the sheet on Google Classroom. Upload it somehow, some way. I don't care how that is. Maybe you want to print it and complete it on there. Take pictures of it. Upload it to the assignment section. Maybe you just want to complete it in a Google Doc page. Maybe you just want to do it on a blank sheet of paper. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, whatever works best for you, just make sure you complete it. If it's graphing and you're doing it by hand, that's fine. I would just make sure you're writing down the vertices so I know exactly what you're doing. And I'm going to give you feedback on 1 or 2 specific problems, just like I would in class. If you have questions, you know where to find me.